Hey guys, it's Ben from design3, and today I'm talking to Matt Thorson, who is a game developer. How are you doing today, Matt?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
Cool.
So what are some of your all-time favorite video games, and when did you start playing video games?
All-time favorite games, mostly the games from when I was a kid, so like Donkey Kong Country 2, up there, Yoshi's Island,
Nice.
Super Metroid, even though I didn't play it till much later. Pikmin 2 actually is like, for some reason, that game just sticks with me.
Nice.
I started playing games, like I said, when I was a kid. My parents got us an NES,
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros. First game. Yeah.
Cool. Do you maybe have like a favorite video game character?
Favorite character, probably Olimar from Pikmin.
Okay.
Just because he's so different for video game characters. Like, he's not super heroic, he's like scientific and like,
Yeah.
I like that.
That's cool. So how did you first get started in video game development?
When I was a kid, I think I was 14, I Googled Game Maker and I
Okay.
found Game Maker, and yeah.
That's awesome. And how did you kind of get into the industry? Like, what was your first job?
I had one industry job, but I was living in the middle of nowhere up in Grand Prairie, Alberta.
Okay.
So I worked at a place called Hermitworks, which is out of business now. Yeah, but other than that, that was just for like a couple months.
Yeah.
Pretty much I've always just been indie.
Okay. Could you talk a little bit about difficulty in a game? Like, how do you kind of define it at the beginning and then ramp it up so that it gets harder and harder as the player goes on?
Right, that's a question I think about a lot in like because I know my games are pretty hard, and I know that there's a lot of people who are just not going to be able to play like
Right.
past a certain point, right?
Right.
So yeah, I tend to think a lot about who I want to be able to play a game,
Right.
and it's a tough question to answer. And like, I usually end up just making the game for myself. And like, if I hadn't made this game myself and just started playing it, would I be able to
Right. Yeah.
do it? A lot of times, what I'll do is I'll start off once I get like the player physics nailed down, all that. I will just jump right into making like super hard levels. So I love making super hard levels.
Yeah,
It's just a lot
yeah.
of fun to make. And then I'll make that my goal. I'll be like, okay, so I want the player to be able to do this. How can I get the player to that level of comfort with the controls
Right.
and familiarity? And then I start making the in-between levels.
Right. Well, and one of your games is called Give Up Robot and Give Up Robot 2. You're almost daring the player like to give up, you know?
Yeah.
So telling them it's difficult early on.
Especially the first Give Up Robot is all about like just punishing the player. Like, even the graphics are just like blurry and
Right.
like in your face, like
Yeah.
annoying.
Which is great though, I think.
Yeah.
It's great design. Can you talk a little bit about how you manage your time and stay on track with everything you're doing?
Yeah, I know a lot of developers have like really set, like there was an IGS talk where they're talking about counting your hours. Like I never count my hours. For me, I watched your interview with Tommy, and it's a similar thing where like I just feel bad when I'm not working.
Right. Yeah,
Like
totally.
I just want to work, and
Yeah.
like yeah, I keep a lot of to-do lists, and those keep me like focused. Like a big problem I get is where I think too much about the big picture of the game, and then you get sort of like, you freeze because you kind of panic. You're like, there's too much, like I can't do this.
Right.
And so to-do lists really help because you write down individual things.
Okay.
So that's really helpful to me.
Yeah. So some of your games are published on Adult Swim Games, which is a great channel online for people to play games. Can you talk a little bit just about the experience of working with Adult Swim on that?
Working with Adult Swim has been amazing. Like, yeah, for indie developers, like it's pretty much the best contract work I've found.
Right.
Like, it is still contract work, so you still have to like they do want to buy the IP to your work, like so you don't own it anymore.
Yeah.
But just as far as contract work goes, like it's because like they gave me pretty much full creative control, and
That's
like
great.
like they do have input, but all the input they gave me, like we saw eye to eye, and it seemed like it made the game better. Like it wasn't like you hear about horror stories about contract work where like working with like movie
Yeah.
studios and stuff where they just don't understand games and they don't get it. Adult Swim's not like that. Like
That's good.
yeah.
So what advice would you give to people who want to get started making their own video games?
Just make a game. Like, just download Game Maker or Construct or Unity and just like make a really shitty game.
Yeah. Good advice.
and just keep making them and like show them to people even if they suck, and
Right.
just eventually they won't suck. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great advice, I think.
Yeah, I think most people just don't do it. Like they just keep thinking about it, but they don't get up the motivation to actually just, you know, just
Yeah,
throw something.
they got to
together.
cross that barrier of, you know, just thinking about it to actually doing it.
Mhm.
Procrastination can
And-
come in there and stuff.
And getting like everyone's a perfectionist, but just like letting go of that and realizing that eventually you'll be able to make something that's like almost perfect, but not for a long time.
Yeah, totally. That brings me to the last question. Might be one of the trickiest. If you had to sum up game design and development in just one word, what would that one word be?
Ooh.
You could take a second to think about it.
Yeah, that's Yeah, maybe roller coaster.
I like that one. A lot
Yeah.
of ups and downs.
Yeah, a lot of. It's just crazy. Like, there's no process like it to me. Like, it's just every part of it is so different. Like when you're first starting a game, all this frustration and like.
Yeah,
I know I'm elaborating on one word.
that's fine.
But like,
That's good.
Okay, yeah, it's like the start, like the conception of a game is so different from the release of a game, and like,
Right.
and they're both such huge parts. It's
Yeah.
it's just it's so like my roommate is always surprised that like every day I'm doing something different, and he's always just like amazed that like this is all my job.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. Cool.
The best in ever.